Okay.
Okay, here we go with overcalls. When I teach this lesson, I think a lot of people kind of gloss their eyes over and think it's not a very important lesson, but I cannot tell you how important it is for your communication with your partner. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from Mark Kinzer today to give us some guidelines of how we can be on the same page with our partner and know what's going on. So take it away, Mark.
Yeah, I too have seen many times when an opponent has stepped in with an overcall, and I say, oh boy, I hope you keep doing that against me. All right, so I've got a lot of slides today. We'll get moving. This is the first slide here, just shows the box where you describe your overcall style. So let's advance the slide. Okay, this is a key part of the lesson. Two main purposes to overcalls, both constructive and destructive. You want to get your partner off to the right lead. You want to get in there when you have a good hand, and it allows you to compete, because we all know how many lessons are done, how many hands are played at part score levels. It's not all about winning games. It's about making sure you get in there, you get your partner off to the right lead, and you compete when both sides have 20 points, half the deck. Next slide.
Did you go over the destructive or no?
I did not. Well, so that's the constructive part. I think that's the more important part.
Oh, okay. All right. We don't have
but a different group of people would who love to mess up their opponents. They like this destructive part of the.
We all know plenty of those kind of people, don't we?
So you're messing up with the opponents. You're messing with them, and that's great fun too. So obviously a OneLevel overcall is could be one club, you overcall a spade, or they open a diamond, you overcall a heart. You need this is pretty basic here. You need a decent 5-card suit. I like to have about 10 points before I overcall at the OneLevel, although I did play with a partner years ago who said, well, we have anywhere from 5 to 20 points, and then you just work it out. So it really depends on your partner's. I'd say discuss with your partner what your preferred style is. Standard is about 10 to 17. You can have, you don't have to have just 5. If you have a 6 or 7-card suit, you don't have to jump. If you have a decent hand, say a 16 count and a 6-card suit, you can still just overcall at the OneLevel, and you'll catch up later. You'll bid again, you'll make a second round takeout double. Some people like to overcall with 4-card suits. That's this next paragraph. If you have a good hand and a hand that's not quite suitable for takeout double, remember takeout doubles require to have 3 cards in all the unbid suits. But if you're say 2, 4, 3, 4, and you have a really good heart suit, you can overcall a heart on King, Queen, 10, 8. If you have a decent hand, less than a no trump type hand, and not a takeout double. I would also add this last point, suit quality. When you are vulnerable, under tricks cost 100 points per trick. And when they double you, it goes 200, 500, 800. You got 1,400 against an opponent who stepped into a live auction the other just 2 days ago. So
I witnessed that one.
Keep doing it against me. But if you want to be a better player, add some discipline to your overcalls.
Just a couple of quick things for me, Mark. In general, I've been teaching 8 points for the OneLevel lately, is what I've been teaching. And then also, just to reiterate for people to notice, the 4-card overcalls have become a lot. I'd say I've seen it where I never saw it going back 5 years ago. I'd say I see it fairly regularly now. That's just what I've been witnessing. I rarely do it. I don't know if I've ever done it, but just so you know.
Yeah, I rarely do it too.
Yeah.
But I agree, the robots on BBO will do it every once in a while, and so that's where people are learning it probably. But I'm still a preacher of this discipline on overcalls. I mean, it can work out to do undisciplined overcalls, but I've just built this up over 40 years of playing, and really prefer the stronger style, more disciplined style. Overcalling at the 2 level, again, The other reason, though, the other point of that is having 10 points in your card adds some discipline. That way, maybe if you have only 9 or 8 in a really good suit, you can step in once in a while. But if you put 8 on the card, then people are going to want to do it on 7 or 6 once in a while.
That's true. Yeah.
So put 10 on your card, and that'll
help discipline you.
Right. And then I kind of add 3 for each level at which you're going to intervene. So to overcall the 2 level, you need 13. To overcall the 3 level, you need 16. And that last part is really important. We'll get to that on the next slide. So this hand that I show here with a good 8, 12, 13 high card points and a 6 card suit, that's a fine 2 diamond overcall. Of course, you don't always have that, but that's the sort of hand and suit that I like to have when I overcall. You can reduce those requirements slightly when not vulnerable for those same reasons I mentioned earlier. Now, 3 level overcalls, I've seen this too, where people overcall on king empty 5th and a 10 count at the 3 level, and your partner has no idea what to do if you have such a wide ranging requirement for 3 level overcalls. So I like having the requirement that, so this is when an opponent opens 2 hearts or they preempt in front of you and you are overcalling at 3 level. You want to have a really good hand because the target is 3 no trump. So if you promise that you have about 16 points to overcall at the 3 level, then partner will be able to bid 3 no trump fairly aggressively, and knowing that you have a good hand and a good suit, you can do it with ace doubleton or something of your suit, and that should he should plan on that solidifying your suit and taking 6 tricks. And again, you can shade it slightly when not vulnerable, but a 3 level overcall shows a good hand.
You want to see it again or no?
So jump overcalls, I'll just throw it in here. It's basically the same as a preemptive opening. So 1 club, 2, you overcall 2 spades in a direct seat, and that's just like a weak 2. I shade those though. If I have king, jack, empty 6, and I'm not vulnerable, I love overcalling that in a direct seat. So they open a club and I jump to 2 spades because I can mess with them. And the reason for this is kind of odds related. The opponents have now the preponderance of the points most likely because they open the bidding, and even if your partner hasn't bid yet, it just shifts the odds slightly. And you want to hear the destructive aspect of preempts of overcalling comes into play more often when they bid first. And you can now
you lighten up your requirements then? Is that what you're saying for that bid?
Yeah, it's like 3 to 7 instead of 6 to 10 or 6 to 11 for a week 2 for jump overcall, not vulnerable again.
Right.
It's like if I have I've done it, I've been known to do it with king 10 9 6. I mean, I would say 3 to 7 is just fine, not vulnerable. Vulnerable, you still want to have you want to have a little bit more, because all of a sudden when you are vulnerable, the opponents can't wait to punish you and double you. So
so then what are you doing with that 9-10 in that situation? Are you just going to do 1?
No, it's probably wide range. Yeah, right. Yeah. So if I have king, queen, jack, 6 of spades, and an outside ace, that might be a week 2 opener.
Yeah.
But for an overcall, it's a 1 level overcall.
Okay. The reason I'm asking everybody is I've been really getting into this bit as well right here. I just love it because when it happens to you, what do you do now? Right? You're the responder of the 1 club opener, and you got to now jump in at the 3 level after they jump to 2 spades. It's painful.
Absolutely, that's the destructive part of overcalling.
Yeah.
I will add that when you're in the balancing seat, so it goes 1 club pass to you, that's a totally different situation. Totally different.
All right. Yep.
And it shows an intermediate type hand. I use 13 to 16. Different people have slightly different ranges, but that's very common, that you want to have a good hand, because otherwise you can just pass it out. If you have a 4 count, just pass it out. Let them play in 1 club.
Right.
Because they probably have a 20 count sitting there. Because your partner didn't overcall after all, and your right hand opponent has less than 6. Important. So you need to Discuss with your partner. I mean, overcalls seem like one of those things that you don't discuss with a new partnership because everybody plays the same. Well, you should talk about your preferred style.
Let's put that on every slide, Mark.
Yeah, well, every lesson that I give here.
Yeah.
So now responding is a very important thing that everybody maybe understands overcalls, but responding to overcall, I think, is a very important point. And this is going to be maybe slightly different than the way BBO robots play it. So pay attention on this slide. To respond at the OneLevel, it should be a forcing bid. You shouldn't. It's just like responding to a one of a suit overcall or opener rather. Responding at the 2 level, however, non-jumping. So let's say left-hand opponent opens 1 club, partner overcalls 1 spade. Is 2 diamonds by you forcing? And my answer is no, it's not. Usually should show a 6-card suit. It's just constructive. It shows, I don't know, anywhere from about, if you have king, queen, 10, 6 of diamonds and nothing else, that's a perfect hand. That's the hand they would show in the book for responding with a non-jump reply to partner's OneLevel overcall. Let's see here. So, and kind of a rule of thumb is responding to an overcall is forcing at the 1 level or the 3 level, but not at the 2 level.
Okay. Can you make this any more complicated?
Yeah, it sounds pretty arbitrary, but that's just kind of the way that's a nice simple rule of thumb.
Okay.
Although if it goes 1 spade and your partner overcalls 2 clubs and you bid 2 diamonds, I think that should probably be forcing. I don't know, because your partner's already showing a 6-card suit and a good hand. So keep it simple here. Not jumping in a new suit is not forcing. It's like a strongly invitational hand. Showing 12 to 13 points is the way I play it, because I read that in a book someplace. Nice. Having fixed ranges for these things is helpful. Responding 1 no trump, 8 to 11. Responding 2 no trump, same sort of thing. It's 12 to 13 points. Just highly invitational. Solid stopper. You guys can study these things at your leisure, but I've got a lot of slides I want to get through here. The next slide shows the most important response, and that's the Q bid. What does a Q bid show? BBO robots play it as they always have support when they Q bid. I argue that it can also have a hand where you have 14 points or more and your own suit. It just says, partner, I'm forcing you. Tell me what you got. Just rebid your suit if you're not happy that I Q bid, or let's keep it moving. I'm showing a good hand, especially then when you introduce a new suit that says, I've got 14, let's keep it going. Keep her moving. So 2 types of hands when you Q bid. One is with like a limit raise or better with support, or a really good hand without support. Jump raises. This is a pretty common one and a very useful bid. It shows 4-card support less than a limit raise. So it's kind of preemptive. It advances the bidding to the 3 level. It's both constructive and destructive at the same time. Jump Q bid. Now this is the one you've probably never tried. This is so they open a club, partner overcalls a spade, and you bid 3 clubs in response to this. It also shows 4-card support for partner. It's called a mixed raise. Often you'll have a stiff club, but sometimes it might be a stiff heart. Doesn't matter. You have 4-card support for partner, about 7 to 10 point value. That's so like maybe you could have as little as a 4 count in points, and then a singleton adds 3 more points in value. Jump to game shows 5-card support, just like if partner opened. So now I have some examples. I would say to all of you, we'll kind of scroll through these things because we've got 7 examples and about 4 or 5 minutes in which to show these things.
I guess what they can do is they can just pause the video when they're watching this. How about that? Because you have explanations on the right, is that right?
Exactly.
So let's just have you wrap it up then. So I'll just scroll through each one so you guys can all, when you're watching this, you can just pause them and get the examples, okay, and his explanations. All right. And then, because we actually do try to end up a few minutes ago, but I was intervening. This was a great topic. Thanks, Mark. I love this. I've actually been very confused on the mixed raise thing. So that actually gave me some clarity of where it's used, because I didn't know what that was doing. So, and I love the, basically when you talked about the Q bid raise, that's basically a strong hand, like kind of when you double and bid again, it's a way to keep the bidding going. So that was really good. So, anyway, this overall was great. I want to emphasize the part where he said important. I really talk about this when people talk about, well, what bidding systems do you like or whatever, and I always emphasize, well, be on the same one as partner, because that's that's how you need to figure it out. Because in overcalls, I can't emphasize enough, you need to be on the same page here, because it means so many people are, you need to understand what partner has, and space is taken up, so all of a sudden it's so high, you need to know what's going on with partner. So I can't emphasize the importance of this lesson enough. So if you want to wrap it up, Mark.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better, Mark. I
Okay.
thought that was a great conclusion. Yeah, you want to play the same bidding system as partner.
Yeah.
And don't try to optimize. Just get on the same page, and that's way more important than playing the best bidding system. It's playing the same bidding system. So going back to overcalls, that both constructive and destructive purpose, I think, is kind of the key concept. And we'll wrap it up here.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the game if you're joining us live. Otherwise, hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.